Do you have a relationship with Bambi?
This whole home wrecker and all this other narrative that she went around with, girl, when we were together and we was in the same house and we was trying to figure it out, apparently you was in the mix.
Is it true that when you and Scrappy were living together, that Bambi went into the house and she was one of the women that he was cheating on you with?
But yeah, it was my house. And Erica came over there as well.
Okay.
Erica Dixon tried to stay strong. She tried to keep her cool, keep her peace, and keep her focus on her own happiness. But when the news hit that Lil Scrappy allegedly got Bambi pregnant again, everything she'd buried came rushing right back to the surface. The past wounds, the co-parenting struggles, the heartbreak she fought for years to heal from. All of it cracked open in one moment. Cameras caught Erica's voice trembling, her eyes welling up as she admitted the truth she never wanted to say out loud. "I thought I was finally done hurting over him." But this news hit differently. Not because she wants Scrappy back, but because it's another reminder that the man she once loved, the father of her child, is repeating every cycle she tried to escape. And social media is already exploding with reactions, theories, and messy opinions. The moment the news dropped that Lil Scrappy had allegedly gotten Bambi pregnant again, the entire Love and Hip Hop universe cracked open like a fault line. Fans were confused, shocked, and instantly glued to their screens, but nobody was hit harder than Erica Dixon. For years, she fought to build a peaceful co-parenting relationship, trying to rise above the chaos, trying to move past the pain Scrappy put her through, and trying to protect her peace. But when producers sat her down and told her the update, when she heard Bambi's name and the word pregnant in the same breath, something inside Erica shifted. It wasn't jealousy, it wasn't bitterness. It was the kind of emotional punch that reminds you of everything you survived, everything you healed from, and everything you told yourself you'd never feel again. Erica didn't lash out. She didn't snap back. She didn't drag Bambi or Scrappy. Instead, she went quiet, too quiet. The type of silence that only comes from someone trying to stop themselves from breaking in front of cameras. She blinked fast, trying to keep tears from spilling, but her voice cracked the moment she tried to speak. "I thought I was done hurting behind him," she whispered, and that one trembling sentence said more than any argument ever could. She wasn't heartbroken because she wanted Scrappy back. She was heartbroken because this news reopened a wound she thought had finally scarred over. Their history, their struggles, their attempts at co-parenting, all of it came rushing back like a flood she didn't ask for. What made it worse was that Erica had been doing so well. Her peace was real. Her spirit was calm. She had been focused on her kids, her businesses, and her glow-up. But parenting with Scrappy has always been layered with unspoken emotions, old pain, and complicated history. Every time they seem to be rebuilding something healthy, something triggers the past. And hearing about Bambi's alleged pregnancy wasn't just another headline. It felt like another reminder that the man she once envisioned a forever with keeps repeating the same patterns, the same cycles, the same emotional mess that broke them years ago. As soon as the cameras cut, Erica walked outside to breathe, wiping her eyes, trying to pull herself together. And that's when Mimi walked up, hugging her tightly. "You good?" Mimi whispered, but Erica shook her head. "It just caught me off guard," she said softly. "I don't want him. I don't want that life." But it still hurts when you realize someone you built so much with can build a whole new life with someone else so easily. Mimi nodded, because she's been there too. Women like her and Erica share a silent understanding. They know what it feels like to love a man who doesn't always love you the way you deserve. They know the weight of history that doesn't disappear just because the relationship ends. And they know how deep old wounds can reopen with the smallest trigger. Meanwhile, social media was exploding. Fans were tagging Erica, Bambi, and Scrappy in every messy thread imaginable, creating narratives, picking sides, and stirring the pot with no mercy. Some people insisted Erica shouldn't care. Others said she was allowed to feel emotional about her past. And then there were those who claimed Bambi was throwing shade before the news even leaked, posting cryptic captions about blessings, new beginnings, and karma working overtime. Whether those posts meant anything or not, fans connected the dots instantly, turning the situation into a wildfire of speculation that spread across TikTok, X, and Instagram in hours. Scrappy, on the other hand, stayed quiet. He didn't confirm anything, didn't deny anything, didn't post a single word. But that silence only fueled more suspicion. People close to him said he looked stressed, distant, even overwhelmed, like the pressure of his past and present finally collided with the future he never expected. Those who saw him backstage during filming said he kept pacing back and forth, rubbing his hands together, muttering, "Man, this is crazy." But whether he was shocked, guilty, or exhausted, nobody could tell. Scrappy has always been the type of man who carries his emotions in private, but lets them explode in the worst possible moments. Bambi's reaction was the opposite. She showed up with her head high, her hair laid, her outfit flawless, giving unbothered queen energy, even if she was trembling underneath. People whispered around her as she walked through the door, trying to catch her expression, her vibe, anything that could give away the truth behind the rumors. But Bambi didn't flinch. She sat down, crossed her legs, and gave the cameras the same icy calmness she's known for. But that stillness wasn't confidence. It was defense. It was the posture of a woman tired of fighting, tired of being dragged online, tired of co-parenting battles, and tired of having her personal life dissected like a storyline instead of her real emotions. The clash between these three souls, Erica's heartbreak, Scrappy's silence, and Bambi's stillness, created a storm of tension that everyone felt. Even cast members who barely engage in drama were whispering in corners, trying to figure out how to approach this situation without triggering a fight. Spice asked Sierra if she thought Erica still had feelings for Scrappy. Sierra shook her head fast. "No, it ain't that," she said. "Erica just been through too much with him. When you heal from someone, the last thing you want is a reminder of the pain." And that explanation hit harder than anything else. The episode continued with Erica trying her best to stay composed, but every time someone said Bambi's name, her face tightened just a little. Every time someone brought up the word pregnant, she looked away. And every time someone mentioned Scrappy, her hands started fidgeting in her lap. That's the thing about trauma. It doesn't always show up as anger. Sometimes it shows up as silence. Sometimes it shows up as tears you try to blink away. Sometimes it shows up as a quiet heartbreak that reminds you of everything you survived. Erica didn't cry because she wanted Scrappy back. She cried because she realized the chapter she closed years ago still had pages left she never wanted to read again. And for the first time in a long time, the world saw her not as a reality star, not as a cast member, but as a woman who loved deeply, broke deeply, and is trying to heal deeply, even when life throws reminders of the past right back in her face. As part 2 begins, everything around Erica Dixon feels heavier than it did moments before. Even though she wiped her tears and tried to pull herself together, the emotional weight still clung to her like a shadow she couldn't shake. The producers could tell she was struggling, so they gently asked if she wanted a break, but Erica shook her head. "I'm good," she whispered, even though she wasn't. She never is when it comes to Scrappy, because no matter how strong she becomes, no matter how much healing she does, some wounds don't disappear. They don't fade, they just settle deeper into the soul until something, like Bambi allegedly being pregnant again, yanks the scar open all over again. And this time, the pain wasn't just sadness, it was frustration too. Frustration that the pattern keeps repeating. Frustration that Scrappy keeps making choices that complicate everyone's lives. Frustration that every step forward somehow leads right back into old drama she has worked so hard to leave behind. While Erica tried to collect herself outside, inside the event you could feel tension building like a pot about to boil over. Spice and Sierra were huddled in the corner, whispering about the news, trying to figure out how Erica was going to handle this. Spice shook her head and muttered, "This gon' get messy," because she knows how deep their history runs. She knows how hurt emotions can flip into anger real fast, especially in the LHHATL universe. Meanwhile, Carly Red, never one to miss a moment, was already asking around, trying to confirm the details for herself. She leaned over to Yandy and said, "Girl, watch this go left by the reunion." Yandy just sighed because she's seen too many broken families to find the situation funny. Then the doors opened and Scrappy walked in. The energy shifted instantly. People went silent, not because they were afraid of him, but because they didn't want him to overhear the whispers about Bambi's alleged pregnancy before the producers broke the news. Scrappy didn't seem to notice the tension in the room. He came in with that familiar half smile, trying to keep things light, trying to pretend everything was normal. But beneath that smile was a man weighed down by choices, by regrets, by constant battles between his past, his present, and whatever future he keeps stumbling into. He sat down on the couch, leaned back and said, "What's good?" But nobody responded. And that was the first sign that something big was coming his way. Producers eventually pulled Scrappy aside and delivered the words that stopped him cold. He blinked slowly, like he wasn't sure he heard them right. "Pregnant," he repeated softly, almost under his breath. His face went blank for a moment, not joyful, not excited, not angry, just stunned, like a man whose mind started racing before his emotions could catch up. He let out a long, heavy sigh and rubbed his forehead, pacing back and forth like he was trying to calm a storm inside him. "Man, this is wild," he muttered. "This is too much at once." And you could see it, the guilt trying to creep up, the fear of how this news would affect his already complicated co-parenting with Erica, and the anxiety about how the public would react. Scrappy has always loved his kids, but relationships, those have always been his battlefield. While producers talked to Scrappy, another scene was unfolding outside with Erica that broke hearts everywhere. Mimi held Erica's hand while Erica tried again and again to explain how she felt without sounding bitter or insecure. But she didn't have to explain herself. Her tears already did. "It's not the baby," Erica said softly. "It's the pattern. It's the chaos. It's the way my peace keeps getting disrupted by stuff I don't even ask to be part of." Mimi nodded because she understood exactly what she meant. When you share a child with someone, their choices, good or bad, always ripple back to you. Always, even years after the breakup, even when you think you're done hurting. At that exact moment, Bambi entered the venue, and the energy shifted again like a storm cloud rolling over a sunny day. She walked in with her usual confidence, head high, makeup flawless, body snatched, giving "I'm unbothered" vibes even if the rumors were true. But underneath that exterior, Bambi was tired too. Tired of being dragged by fans. Tired of being blamed. Tired of being painted as the villain in every storyline involving Scrappy and Erica. But she was also fiercely protective of her peace and her children. And if she was pregnant again, she wasn't about to let anyone shame her for it. When Kendra walked over to speak to Bambi privately, the cameras caught the moment Bambi's walls started to crack. "I didn't want this to blow up like this," she said quietly. "I don't want no drama with her." But sometimes on this show, drama finds you whether you want it or not. And this time, the drama was unavoidable because fans online were already spinning narratives claiming Bambi was trying to one-up Erica, while others said Scrappy was repeating the same emotional cycles that ruined his marriage with Bambi and his relationship with Erica. The internet was loud, messy, and relentless. Inside the venue, the cast could feel the pressure building. Sierra whispered to Rashida, "This gon' be bad." Rashida shook her head and said, "I just hope they can talk without tearing each other apart." But with emotions this raw, with wounds this deep, peace wasn't gonna come easy. Then it happened. Erica walked back inside, still holding back tears, and locked eyes with Scrappy for the first time since she heard the news. It wasn't anger, it wasn't jealousy, it wasn't rage, it was heartbreak. The kind of heartbreak that only comes from someone you once loved in a way that shaped you, broke you, matured you, and changed you. Scrappy swallowed hard. He knew he hurt her unintentionally, but hurt is hurt, even when there's no malice behind it. The room froze, the silence was suffocating, and everyone knew Part 3 was about to be a storm. Part 3 opens with tension so thick you can practically feel it pulsing through the room. Erica and Scrappy stand only a few feet apart, but the emotional distance between them stretches like a canyon carved by years of hurt, misunderstandings, and unresolved feelings. Both of them remain frozen for a long moment, caught in a silent stare-off that isn't angry, but it's full of everything they never said. Scrappy finally takes a slow step toward her, but Erica is the one who breaks eye contact first, wiping the corners of her eyes before the tears can fall again. He sees it, and it hits him hard. Scrappy has seen Erica angry, loud, frustrated, but seeing her quietly hurting, that's the version that always gets him. That's the version that reminds him just how deeply he damaged her in the past, and how much of that pain never fully healed, no matter how hard she tried to move forward. Scrappy opens his mouth to speak, but no words come out. He isn't sure what he's supposed to say. Congratulate himself? Apologize? Defend? Explain? He doesn't even know the truth of the situation yet, so he feels caught in a storm he doesn't know how to navigate. Erica finally breaks the silence with a shaky breath and whispers, "I just wasn't expecting this." Her voice cracks slightly, but she quickly straightens up, trying to regain control. She doesn't want him to see her vulnerable. She doesn't want him to think she's crying over him. She's crying over what he represents: history, heartbreak, and a pattern that keeps dragging her backwards. Scrappy shakes his head slowly. "I ain't mean for it to get back to you like this," he says softly. His voice is lower than usual, almost defeated. He looks at her the way a man looks at someone he knows he's hurt too many times. Erica lets out a breathy laugh that isn't remotely funny. "It's not about how it got back to me," she replies. "It's the fact that I had to hear it at all." Scrappy looks down, rubbing the back of his neck, because he knows exactly what she means. He knows that his choices, even if unintentional, always end up affecting her, not because she wants him, but because they share a child, share a past, share a bond that life keeps forcing them back into, even when they try to escape it. The cast watches from the sidelines with wide eyes, nobody daring to interrupt. Sierra whispers to Rashida that she's never seen Erica this emotional. Spice leans closer and mutters, "It's the history. That kind of history don't just disappear." And she's right. No matter how long they've been broken up, No matter how many new relationships they've tried, no matter how much healing they've done, there's a thread between Erica and Scrappy that connects them in the most complicated ways. Bambi stands off to the side, arms crossed tightly across her chest, watching everything unfold with a face that tries to look neutral but isn't even close. Her jaw is clenched, her posture stiff, and she's biting the inside of her cheek to keep from reacting. She doesn't want to start a fight. She doesn't want to escalate anything. She doesn't want to be painted as the villain again. But watching Scrappy trip over his words, watching him show softness toward Erica, watching him visibly care about how Erica feels, it stirs emotions in her that she tries hard not to show. She turns her face away, blinking a few times, trying to stay composed. Scrappy finally takes a step closer to Erica. "I ain't trying to hurt you," he says quietly, and this time his voice cracks too. Erica shakes her head again. "You didn't," she replies, even though the tremble in her voice exposes the truth. "It just brings stuff back." Scrappy nods slowly, swallowing hard. "I know." And for a rare moment, the two of them stand in silence again. Not angry silence, but heavy silence filled with years of love, conflict, apologies that were too late, and forgiveness that never fully healed the wounds. Then Erica says something that shifts the whole energy of the room. "Do you know how hard I worked to let you go?" Scrappy freezes, his chest rising as he takes a deep breath. "Yeah," he whispers, "and I know I didn't make it easy." Erica's eyes fill again, but this time she doesn't look away. She looks him right in the face, letting him see every ounce of pain she buried. "You didn't just break my heart," she continues. "You broke the version of me that trusted you. And every time something like this happens, it feels like I gotta rebuild myself all over again." Scrappy's eyes go glossy. He isn't angry. He isn't defensive. He's devastated because he knows she's right. He knows he wasn't always the man she deserved. He knows he let her down more times than she could count. And now, even unintentionally, he's triggering the hurt she fought hard to bury. "I'm sorry," he whispers. And those two words feel like they came from a place deeper than he's ever spoken from on camera. Not a rehearsed apology, not a PR apology, a real one. Bambi watches all of this unfold, and her chest tightens. She feels something sharp, something uncomfortable, jealousy, resentment, fear, maybe all three. Because she knows that even though Scrappy and Erica aren't together, there is a connection between them that she has never been able to fully understand or penetrate. A connection that feels ancient, complicated, and emotional in ways she doesn't relate to. She clenches her jaw tighter, fighting the urge to react. Producers finally step in and gently ask Erica if she needs a break. She shakes her head again. "No, I need to finish this." She looks at Scrappy and says, "I'm not mad. I'm not even surprised. I'm just tired." And that one word, tired, hits Scrappy harder than anything else. Because when a woman says she's tired, it means she has reached the point of emotional exhaustion where nothing shocks her anymore. It means she has accepted the reality she never wanted. It means she's done fighting. Scrappy nods slowly, defeated. "I don't want you hurting behind me," he says. Erica gives a small, sad smile. "Then stop giving me reasons to." Her voice is soft, but sharp enough to cut through everything he's built to protect himself emotionally. Spice looks at Sierra and whispers, "This reunion gonna be nuclear." Sierra just nods, eyes wide. Because everyone knows the emotional storm brewing between these three is only getting stronger. Part 4 begins with an atmosphere so tense you could feel the whole room vibrating with unspoken emotions. After Erica's raw confrontation with Scrappy, The cast tries to return to normal conversations, but the energy refuses to settle. Everybody senses that something big is still coming, a release, a blow-up, or a breakdown, because unresolved emotions don't just fade away in a show like Love and Hip Hop. They simmer, boil, and explode at the least expected moment. Erica sits on the far end of the couch, her eyes distant, her posture tight, holding her chest like she's trying to physically hold her heart in place. She's not yelling. She's not cussing. She's not even reacting to the whispers around her. She's sitting in the silence of a woman who has been emotionally drained for years and finally reached the point where she can't pretend she's unaffected anymore. Her heartbreak isn't loud. It's quiet, heavy, and real. Scrappy, on the other hand, is pacing in the back hallway, shaking his head over and over, trying to gather himself before he comes back into the room. His emotional confusion fills the air like smoke. He's torn between wanting to comfort Erica, wanting to avoid more drama, and wanting to protect whatever situation he may have with Bambi. He leans against the wall, takes a deep breath, and whispers, "Why everything gotta be so damn hard?" A producer tells him he needs to come back inside, and Scrappy nods even though his eyes say he's nowhere near ready. But he walks back in anyway, sitting on the opposite couch with his hands clasped together, staring at the floor. He doesn't know where to look, who to address, or how to fix something that feels permanently broken. What makes the scene even more intense is Bambi, standing near the doorway, arms crossed tightly, watching everything unfold with a face full of emotions she refuses to let show. She swallows hard, jaw clenched, eyes darting between Scrappy and Erica. It's clear she's torn between understanding Erica's pain and feeling like Erica's reaction is indirectly judging her too. She wants to speak, but she also doesn't want to ignite a fire she can't put out. The tension in her shoulders reveals she's barely holding herself together. And deep down, she knows this moment isn't just about a pregnancy rumor. It's about years of overlapping heartbreak, shared mistakes, and a man who never fully made peace between two stages of his life that collided because he never learned how to separate them. Finally, Kendra walks over to Erica and places a hand on her shoulder. The simple gesture brings Erica back to the present moment, and she breathes deeply, keeping her composure. "You okay?" Kendra asks, and Erica nods slowly, even though her eyes are glassy again. "Yeah," she whispers, "I just don't want to go back to the version of me that used to tolerate all this pain." That line hits the entire room like a slap, because everyone knows exactly what she means. Erica spent years trying to build peace around chaos, years being hurt by Scrappy's confusion, his mixed emotions, his on and off relationships, and his inability to choose stability. She isn't crying because she wants him back. She's crying because she remembers the woman she used to be, and she is terrified of slipping into that version again. At that moment, Scrappy finally looks up. His eyes are filled with regret, confusion, exhaustion, a messy swirl of emotions. "Erica," he starts, but his voice cracks. He clears his throat and tries again. "I didn't mean to bring you no pain." Erica nods slowly, her face soft but tired. "I know you didn't," she says, "but intention don't erase impact." The entire room goes silent. Scrappy opens his mouth to respond, but nothing comes out, because she's right, and he knows she's right. How she feels isn't about blame. It's about emotional history, about patterns she spent years trying to escape. Then, for the first time, Bambi steps closer. She doesn't come in combative. She doesn't raise her voice. She speaks softly, almost vulnerable. "I'm not trying to hurt nobody either," she says. "I just want peace too." Erica turns toward her slowly, looking her dead in the eyes. There's no anger in her face, only fatigue. "I don't have a problem with you," Erica says. "I really don't. But I've been through enough with Scrappy to last me a lifetime, and hearing something like this, it just hits different when you've already been through that pain." Bambi nods. Her eyes soften, and for once, she looks less like a woman ready to fight and more like someone who understands the weight of Erica's emotional history. "I didn't come here to take anything from you," Bambi says quietly. "I know what y'all been through." And even though she doesn't say it out loud, everyone knows what she really means. She knows how hard it is to love Scrappy and still lose yourself in the process. The room stays quiet for several long seconds until Scrappy finally speaks again. "I don't want to keep hurting the women in my life," he admits. "I really don't." It's the rawest confession he's made in years. And the truth is, the man has a good heart. But he spent years making choices that hurt the very people who loved him the most. Erica closes her eyes as tears finally roll down her cheeks. "Then change," she whispers. Bambi wipes a tear from her own eyes, turning away so the cameras won't catch it. But they do anyway, because this isn't just Erica's heartbreak. It's Bambi's too. It's Scrappy's too. 3 adults trapped in the aftermath of past mistakes and future uncertainty. As the conversation winds down, Erica stands up slowly. She isn't storming out. She isn't slamming doors. She simply needs air. "I'm gonna go home," she says quietly. "I need space to breathe." Scrappy stands too, instinctively wanting to walk her out, but he stops himself. Erica gives him a soft, sad half-smile before leaving the room with Kendra by her side. Bambi retreats to the corner, wiping her face. Scrappy sinks back onto the couch, leaning forward with his hands over his face, whispering, "Lord, what is happening?" And that's how part 4 ends, with 3 hearts broken in different ways, 3 lives tangled by emotion. If you made it this far, thank you for watching and thank you for riding through this emotional roller coaster with me. Because honestly, this wasn't just love and hip-hop drama. This was real-life pain, real history, and real heartbreak spilling out on camera. Erica's tears, Scrappy's confusion, Bambi's quiet hurt. It all shows how complicated love becomes when the past and the present collide. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Erica still has feelings for Scrappy? Is Bambi really moving on, or is there more to the story? And where does Scrappy go from here now that both women are emotionally drained? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Keep it real, keep it respectful, and tell me what you think comes next. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode of this wild LHHATL saga. It's deeper than the show could ever capture, and a storyline that's nowhere near finished.